So, you want to bag your Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Hello and welcome to another video. Today we have another Mercedes-Benz on our video catalog here at Fitment TV. This is a 2010 Mercedes-Benz E350 Coupe, okay? W207 yung body niya. So this is very, well, not really very similar. It's closely related to the C-Class we previously did. That has a new set of wheels already, so that's nice. So, this is an E350 Coupe. It's a longer version of the C-Class. Some people mistake it for a CLS. It's actually an E350 Coupe. So, yun yung pinagkaiba niya. This is actually kitted na with carbon fiber goodies, Boston wheels, and I like it. Ang ganda niya. I really like the four-seater coupe-style Mercedes-Benz. Ang ganda. And it rides well. So, konting backstory sa kotse. We've done this car, or we built this car for 14 days total. We took our time with this car kasi the owner has special requests. And those special requests will be discussed later on. Okay? We're going to tell you about those requests. So, we took our good, sweet time on this car. And it was just as, you know, wala lang. Ang sarap lang niyang buuin. I had a great time building this car kasi the owner took his time to tell us what he wants, how to, you know, sige, baba mo pa yung unahan, ganon. Gandahan natin yung likod. Can we do something like this? We did a lot of firsts with this car, and I appreciate that. Ako, honestly, I love working on a car for a long period of time kasi we can actually perfect it more. And at the same time, you could counter-argue that it could be more stressful kasi you have to perfect it even more. Kasi may 2 linggo sa'yo yung kotse. But nonetheless, ang ganda ng drop ng kotse. The front is almost fender to lip, pero we actually left some space kasi when it settles down in the future, baka lumapat na siya. And we can actually add camber in the future, so that's a possibility pa. This is actually running on Bilstein shocks. And we're going to discuss that later on. And the rear is just perfect. Let's discuss the under chassis later on the outro. But for now, if you want to know more about this car and how beautiful it is and how we did it, stay tuned. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Okay? Hit the bell icon for the notification. It really helps. Thank you for the subscribers, the supporters, especially the clients. It's actually making this possible for us to build cars like these. It's really, really nice cars. And it's nice to see we're leveling up kahit paano, di ba? So, that being said, we're going to discuss the under chassis of this car. I need you to lend me your ears, okay? It's going to get technical and educational at the same time. So, all right, strap in your thinking hats and let's actually dive into the suspensions of the E350 Coupe W207. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the front suspension of our Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Straight to the point, right out of the bat. This is actually very similar to the C-Class na ginawa namin back in last year. Well, yeah. Recently lang din yun. So, very, very similar because they are the same generation of Benz and they, you know, like BMW, they tend to, you know, parts bin. Nire-recycle nila yung mga parts nila throughout their car. So, this is the same shock as ng ginawa namin yun. But, this one is equipped with a Bilstein shock replacement. Ayan o, if you can see. I don't know if you can see that. It's a Bilstein. The blue one. Anyway, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class is actually a McPherson-type strut-equipped na car. So when you actually turn the steering wheel, the whole assembly rotates on its axis or in Tagalog, pumipihit siya sa kanyang axis na ito. Kuya, pakabig nga. Go. So as the steering wheel rotates, so does the shock. Balik. So as you can see, gumagalaw yung hose line natin. So that's something na kailangan mo talaga tingnan mabuti. So, okay, straight. So we actually just route it on the brake lines para kasabay siya ng OEM things na gumagalaw sa kotse. We actually replaced the front control arm ng ating Benz na ito also. That's why it's so shiny and clean. So yeah, yan yung ating front suspension. It's quite, you know, spacious. I can actually put my hands all the way around. So that means it's actually really spacious. Perfect car for bags, actually. Pero yeah, very simple suspension, very common. It's actually same with other cars like, you know, the Vios, CT, Civic. So you'll be shocked. Simple lang din pala mga Eurong kotse. So let's move on to the backside of the suspension where it gets tricky. Let's go! Welcome to the rear suspension of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. As you can see, this is very familiar. This is actually same as with our Supra, any other BMW or Euro car, and of course, it's the same as the C-Class na ginawa namin back then. So, we have a multi-link rear suspension. Okay, I'm sorry it's quite dark. I'm using my camera lang, my phone. So we have a control arm here, sway bar, stab link, shock. And we have a lower control arm na baso. Very similar. This is actually very popular itong rear suspension ito. So it's an independent divorced rear suspension, multi-link, and so that means yung ating bag is hiwalay sa ating shock. And you can see this is our shock. Cover lang to ha. Cover lang yan. And the bag is actually there. We're actually using our super slims na ginagamit naman sa mga supercars for this car kasi it's really tight. Kaya in-emphasize ko na agad, right out of the bat, mahirap to. Yung C-Class na ginawa namin dati, mas maluwag compared dito kasi yung C-Class na ginawa namin ay, if I'm not mistaken, front-wheel drive siya. Hindi siya rear-wheel drive, katulad nito. So this is actually rear-wheel drive. So there's an axle and it's quite tight. Pero yeah, the super slim bag is maluwag dito. If we didn't use the super slim bag, then wala. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna take 2 weeks to get the proper offset, and it's not really wise. Okay? Long term, this is safe, and it's easier to do. Straightforward build, and yeah. Yun lang naman ang ating kailangan pag-usapan sa rear suspension ng Mercedes-Benz E-Class na ito. Okay? We also resurfaced the rotor, so shoutout will prefer that, and change the brake pads so this client can actually have proper maintenance already while doing their suspension. So yeah, very simple. At least nakita nyo lahat before we move on to the trunk layout ng ating Benz that is actually quirky and it took some time kasi it's a special request of the client. Okay, let's go. Hello and welcome sa trunk layout ng ating Mercedes-Benz E55. So I'm using my vlog setup right now because there's several things na gusto kong ipakita dito sa build na ito. Namely because this may be the most complicated layout that we have done for a client because he specifically wanted things for his Benz to be made in such order na katulad nito. We'll begin by the tank. The tank is actually an Endo-CT compressor and tank system na nasa ilalim. Okay? The valve is actually located behind this thing, and the system is actually located in front of the kicker, the amplifier ng kicker. So, as you can see, there's 3 locations for our system. Usually, magkakasama sila. The tank and the compressor is inside. The valve system is right here, actually. I don't know if you can see it. Ayun. Okay, we're just gonna leave it open for now. And then, the management system is actually right here. The reason for this request is because ang gusto ng client is to occupy the less amount of space possible. Itong Benz na ito ay may provisions siya dito, katabi ng spare tire, meron siyang blank space dyan, which coincidentally, kasya yung tangke natin. Still has spare tires, tools, and of course, he doesn't want to populate the things. He doesn't want to populate the trunk that much kasi meron siya dito subwoofer. He doesn't want that removed. And then, of course, the reason why he wants more space on his layout is because he has, you know, briefcases that he has to bring, he has stuff to bring. So, those are very, very important to him. So, we cater to the client's needs and requests so much so that we can actually pull up clean layouts like these. This is probably the cleanest build that we actually made. But, nonetheless, it's actually quite the most difficult as well. Kasi multiple locations, multiple hidden areas. So we have to be careful when we're actually closing this kasi nga sumasabit. So yeah, that is all we can discuss for the trunk. Okay? We still have like all of the space he needed. Wala naman kaming kinain na iba. So yun yung great thing about it. But yeah, moving on, let's actually discuss our conclusions about this car and yeah, let's discuss more later. Hello and welcome to the outro of the video. As we discussed, front is a McPherson strut, Bilstein shock. Sinagad pa namin na sinagad yan to get this drop. We left a bit of space for just clearance. Malay mo mag-20s siya. I actually said to the client, 20s would look better. Pero for a sporty look, 19s will do for now. The rear side is actually tucked as common naman to sa mga Euro. Okay, he's rocking a Vossen wheel, forged wheel. Basically, kinadaut na yung kotse. The drop is perfect for me. I wouldn't go lower than this na. It's actually perfect. The ride feels great. The Bilstein shock on bags, it's actually really good. We actually resurfaced the rotors. Pinalitan din namin ng brake pads. So sabi ko nga, nag-enjoy akong buuin yung kotse because we took our sweet time to make it, you know, bleed out Fitment engineering essence out of it. So, that being said, what do we want to discuss now? I think we should show you the vehicle dynamics ng kotse. Let's actually raise up the car. I'm gonna start the vehicle and let's actually raise up the car. Oh yeah, before we move on to the dynamics of the car, how did you like the layout sa likod? Those are the special requests ng client na nagustuhan ko. Ang ganda ng kinalabasan. He's actually aiming for space, comfort, quietness, you know, utilizing the space. Although it's a bit difficult to do, this is actually maybe the most complicated air suspension install we did, but it's okay. It's fun. I had fun. The boys did as well. They really put their heads into it and they collaborated with the client, which is actually really good. So let's actually just get the signal. Okay, let's actually race the car. Now. All right. So we are at preset 3. Medyo hindi pa tumataas yung kotse. The reason why that's the case is because nakita nyo naman yung tank layout sa likod kanina. It's quite small. It's a 3-gallon tank for a small car, for a big car rather. And it will take some time to refill the tank. So after maximizing the pressure of the tank, we got 4.5 finger gap sa unahan. That's a lot of travel for traversing through humps. And sa likod, we actually have 2 to 3 finger gaps lang sa likod. Yeah, mga 3 fingers. Okay? The reason why hindi ganun kataas yung air up sa likod is because we're actually using a special type of bag sa likod. If you saw the rear suspension layout ng kotseng ito, medyo masikip. Okay? It's quite tight, cramped. So that bag is the best bag for that. If we actually use a bigger bag, it will lift higher, but the offset and the things that will rub on the bag is dangerous. And Mercedes-Benz are actually very notorious for, you know, popping bags on the rear because of all the links. We have a multi-link rear suspension sa likod. We have the stab link, the shocks itself, the control arm, the axle. Lahat ng yon dangerous for the car. So ito lang yung best compromise natin ngayon so we don't actually ruin the air suspension build. But nonetheless, let's drop the car. Mauunang mag-drop lagi ang likod because multi-link suspension, heavier yung rear actually. Surprisingly, di ba? And that is our drop for the car. So, what do you think? Okay? Lahat naman ng Benz. Okay? Lahat naman ng Benz. Good for stance platforms. And they really shine most when you drop them. Even old Mercedes-Benz. Lahat katulad ng ginawa namin Chideng na W123. Yung kay Kuya Mark na Mercedes-Benz. Sa pa yun. This is the second modern Mercedes-Benz that we did. We did 2 classic Mercedes-Benz. And you see, when you drop this land yachts, okay, they really look great. So they're quite the heavy vehicle, pero they ride really well. Especially with the air suspension, they will ride really well. But that will be all of the time we have for this car. All right? So that's going to be it. We have no more time to discuss. If you want to talk about more about the car, we can actually do a video on it separately. But for now, that's going to be it. If you have a Mercedes-Benz, E-Class, C-Class, a classic one as well, we have done those. These cars are really great platforms for stance. And it may be difficult to build, but we can do it for you. That is the challenge as well. So yeah, so you want to bag your E-Class. Okay, Mercedes-Benz E-Class. This is how. Okay? That's going to be it for now. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for the notification, and it's been Cal from Fitment Engineering, and you're watching Fitment TV. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Sorry, there's not much to discuss. We have a lot to do pa. There's a lot of cars coming in. So, see you guys on the next episode. Bye.